Hello everybody, Felicia here, and I am here with my very first design team layout for CutCardStock. Yes. So I'm going to be using three things here, three of the cardstocks. One is called the Blast Off Blue, and that is what my main layout is going to be posted on here, as you can see. And that's a 12 by 12 80-pound cardstock, and I'm also going to be using Curious Metallic in gold and chartreuse, and those are both 8.5 by 11 size cardstocks. And this cardstock, you guys, is awesome. It is extremely good quality. I am really happy that I'm using it, and so I'm going to be telling you right now what I'm using and how I'm using it, and we're going to get down to the business here. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm trying to situate these already cut out pieces here. These are cut out with a die that I have on my Big Shot machine, and I am trying to situate them so we can kind of blend in and make it look more like it's part of the tree without being in the photo there. So the colors that you see here are, like I said, gold and chartreuse, and it's called Curious Metallic. And I've never worked with metallic papers before, so this is the first time that I've worked with them, and I actually love them, and I'm going to be using them a lot more often. And what I'm mounting my photo on right now is the Curious Metallic Gold, and the other color that you see that is darker is the chartreuse color. So now you can kind of tell which one is which. And this blue is awesome too. It is true blue. It is really nice. I don't really have a whole lot of blue cardstock like this in my stash, but now I do, and I'm really happy that I have that. So now that I've figured out how I'm going to be putting this down, what I'm doing right now is I am putting down the pieces. I'm putting glue on the back of them here, and I'm going to be putting them down in a kind of like in order so where it kind of looks like it's part of the tree, but it's not part of the tree. So it's gonna look more natural. That's what I'm going for here. I'm going for the more natural look here on this layout. So I'm going to first I got to put the photo down, and I almost totally forgot to do that. So that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm going to put the photo, as you can see there, accidentally put it down, but I'm going to put the photo more towards the lower left hand. If you're facing the cardstock here, it's more like on the lower left here. So there's the first piece that I put on, and I'm like, ooh, this looks nice. And if you could only hear me talking to myself, you're like, what is she saying? But yeah, I really liked it. So now I'm trying to figure out how to put the other piece on here, because I like those pieces there. And the die that I used is from Tonic Studios, but right now I am putting down the glue here, and it's the little intricate parts here that I'm putting down. And in the meantime, the cardstock that I'm using has two sides to it. It has a more shinier metallic side and a little duller metallic side on the other, so that way you know which direction it's facing. And that's what I liked about this cardstock, because a lot of the metallic cardstocks or other cardstocks really don't tell you which side you're using. So, but this one kind of lets you know that you're using the right side. So now I am putting down this other piece, and I'm going to cut the little thickness off there a little bit there, because it was a little too thick. And I'm still kind of working, so you got to understand, I'm sorry about that, guys, but I'm still kind of working on how I'm making sure my layout is being seen, because I'm not using a normal video camera like I used to, because it was very inconvenient. So I'm just going to be using that, so just hold on to that. So now that I've glued down those pieces right there, I'm going to glue down this piece. Now this piece has innards that I'm going to be putting in, and I'll explain that as you see me glue them in. It's like putting together a puzzle, and I've done this so many times when I've made cards in the past, so I like the process. And so what I did was I cut out two sets, one set in one color and one set in another color. So I took the innards out of the gold one, and I'm going to be filling them into the chartreuse color here of the cardstock. I hope that sounded okay. So there you have it. So I put down the chartreuse color, and now I am going to put down the gold color and side of the flower that you see at the bottom here of that piece that I cut out. So you're gonna see me put in the little pieces here. It's almost like putting together a puzzle. So I'm grabbing the pieces here, and they're on my tray there. So I'm going to be putting those down so that you could see me put those pieces in like a puzzle. It's the coolest thing ever. You're gonna really see how it's done. I like doing this. Like I said, I've done it before with making a card, and so I'm pretty ecstatic about how this is gonna turn out, because I already know what it's gonna look like, and it's gonna look pretty cool, and you're gonna see that here in a second. So when you are cutting your die cuts, and I was going to use the little sticky thingy there from Silhouette, but it didn't work as well as I wanted it to, so I just used my tweezers once I put that little tiny piece in. So you're going to see me go ahead, and I wanted you to see this process. So you're going to see me go ahead and put the pieces in here one at a time, and once the pieces are put in there, it's going to look pretty cool, you guys, and you'll see what I mean in a minute here. So I did not cut this out because I wanted you to actually see the process. So here's what you do. You cut out two pieces. If you want to like interchange the colors, you cut one color and one another color, and then you punch out the pieces, and then you put down the main one that you want to be the solid color, and then the other piece you fill in with the pieces from the other color. I hope that makes sense. So I'm putting them in right now. And this is the process that I really like about doing this. It's going to come out so cool once I'm done. And so once you get those pieces in, it just really takes on a whole different look, because you got two different colors there and on the die cut. So as I'm doing this part here, I'll explain to you a little bit about the photo. The photo is of my family, my 3 children there, and my husband and myself. And you can see that if you look closely, my son is always acting up when it comes time to taking pictures. So he's just doing his silly self stuff. So but I took this photo myself, and it's of all of us here at the Arboretum in the town that we lived in. And my kids, they wanted to take the picture in the tree. So I was like, oh man, okay, come on, let's go ahead and go. So they climbed up in the tree, all 3 of them, and they found their little spots, and I had the remote in my hand. And so what I decided to do was just, okay guys, you're all set, and then take the picture. So it turned out pretty cool. I liked how that looks as a family, except for my son acting silly. But I did take a few poses though. So, but this was one I thought would go good with this layout here. So so now you can see I'm almost finished filling in this flower here with the gold color of the metallic cardstock here, and I'm getting it all filled in. I got like, I think 1 or 2 more pieces to put in there, but once it's done, it just really looks really cool, and you're gonna get a chance to get some close-ups here at the end of the video. But I thought this was a great process on doing that. And so I've got like, I think 2 more pieces here to put in there, and it really pops it out, because you can see it now more so than I did before. Now I didn't do the flower above it because I just wanted that to be more of a skeleton type of like an outline or skeleton type of die cut, because I didn't want to fill that one in, but I just wanted to do the bottom. So, and I did that. So now that that is done, I am going to be working on the butterflies. Now the butterflies are going on here. This is a spring slash butterfly slash flowers slash layout here. I'm really excited about how this turned out though. So in case I'm getting all a little tongue twisted, because I'm overwhelmed with excitement, because it turned out better than I thought it was. So I'm pretty excited about that. But what I did was I went into my stash and I got some of these bling, and I haven't used bling on a layout in a long time, you guys. It's been a while. So I decided to go ahead and decorate the butterflies with the bling. So I glued each one of these bling down onto these butterflies here, and you're going to see me figure out a shortcut. So what I do is I just put a little pile of glue on a piece of paper, and you'll see that here, because I was like, wait a minute, I can't keep doing this. I got to find an easier way to do this instead of trying to get the glue on this bling. So you're going to see me grab a piece of paper, and I'm going to put some glue down there and you see the glue down there, and I just dip the bling in there and then just keep on going. So I thought it would be a good way to do it. It kind of saved me some time. And one of them popped off and flew somewhere though, but I was still able to, get these butterflies decorated. And once again I cut these out with the chartreuse metallic cardstock and the gold metallic cardstock. So those are going to be decorating part of the layout as well. And what I noticed about when you're doing this process here of gluing the bling so that it'll stay on your butterflies, you gotta make sure you got a good pair of sharp tweezers, because the ones that I have right now are really sharp and they got a nice little point to them, so that way you can grab a hold of the bling, more easily, because bling has a tendency to fly off and get slippery and pop off somewhere, and then you're finding bling that you lost months ago or even a year ago and you're going, wait a minute, how did I get there? Well, that's how. So that's what I'm using right now, is I'm doing that process here with gluing down the butterflies, and I'm letting you see the whole entire process. So this way you can see how I created this layout from start to finish, except for the cutting out, the die cutting part. That took longer than I expected, because so I did not record that part, but I decided to go ahead and leave the rest of it in, because that was a long process. It took me, I think about, let me see, probably about 30 minutes to cut out all these pieces and get everything organized so that I can get them onto the layout. So I decided not to put that one up, because it did take a while. So now I have bling on all of the butterflies, and now I'm going to be pulling the wings up, pinching the wings up, looking like the butterfly is either landing or getting ready to take off. That way it gives this layout a huge amount of dimension that is just awesome. I mean, the video only shows you so much, but oh my gosh, in person, the layout is beautiful. It turned out better than I thought, as the video doesn't give it any justice. But the still pictures you'll get to see a little bit more up close here. So I'm bending all of the leaves. Leaves. Oh my gosh, man, what am I thinking? I'm bending all of the wings of the butterflies, and I'm putting them strategically here and there onto the layout, as you can see. And I remember to scoot it up a little bit. I just got to remember to make sure that I scoot this up so you guys can get a really good look at it. So yeah, and it just came out so nice. I really like how that came out, and I really didn't think that the butterflies were, as far as having me bend the wings, I didn't really think that was going to make a difference, and it did make a huge difference. So I have some butterflies over there to the right, and then over there on the left. So, and it is okay when you're doing your layout to have blank spaces. This is the one thing I had to settle myself with, because you don't have to have all the spaces filled up on your 12 by 12 layout. Because then if you do, it kind of makes it a little overcrowded, and then it just gets a little bit, it doesn't look like I can't even think of the word right now, but you don't want it to look too busy, and you don't want too much stuff on it. You want to give it that space that you need on the layout there. So all right, I think I got most of the butterflies down. I really like how this looked. It came out better than I thought, and I'm really happy with that. So, all right. So I think I'm putting on the last butterfly, even though I can't really see what I'm doing down here, but I think I put down the last butterfly there. All righty. So now I think I'm getting ready to put down the flowers. Nope, actually I put down a little strip of a little bit of gold to offset it, because I found some alphas that I want to put on here, but because I don't have a huge amount of like super bright gold on here, it's metallic, I decided to go ahead and put down a little bit of a strip. Now there's some of the flowers, and you can see that I'm going to be using some of those to offset some of the colors here on the layout, and I'm trying to figure out how I want these flowers now. And now what I do is I end up putting a few of the flowers down, but I'm creating a more of a dimensional look with these flowers, and I'm kind of bending them in the middle there to make them kind of pop out a little bit more. And then I'm trying to figure out how I want them to be strategically put on the layout, because I don't want to cover up any of the butterflies. The butterflies are the star of the layout pretty much for the most part, outside of the picture, because it's made with the beautiful metallic cardstock there. So I think I'm looking for something. I don't even know what I'm looking for. Oh, I'm probably looking for my poker, because I'm getting ready to poke a hole through the center of the flowers and put a brad in the middle. And yes, I have not used brads in a while like this either. So I'm really bringing out some of the old school styles here. I'm putting this layout together. But in the end, I loved how it came out. So I don't mind taking, using some of my old school styles and things. And if you want to know what will glue down brads on a layout, oh my gosh, these things called Zots. Zots will definitely glue down your brads, because Zots is this, and it's like a 3D dimensional glue dot, and it's pretty thick. And I've been using Zots for years, and so if you put that Zot over top of that brad, and once you put it down on the paper, it doesn't come off, and if it does come off, when you pull it, you can't really pull it without messing up the paper. So yeah, so what I decided to do was put another one of those strips at the bottom there, as you can see, to kind of offset it a little bit. And yeah, it actually made a huge difference, and so I'm glad I did that. And now you can see I got family up there. It's #family in gold. Oh, I just love this. And I'm putting #family because in these times, in these days with the pandemic, I try not to do a layout without mentioning the pandemic, but you can't help it. And you gotta be close to your family. And so my kids and all of us, we're still close, and we still communicate with each other. And yes, we still do see each other. I don't believe in staying apart from my family like that, because of some orders, but we'll just leave that for another conversation. But right now you can see me punching a little hole there inside of the flower there in the center, and then I'm layering this flower, and it's going to go up in a corner for a good reason, and I'll explain that a little bit later too. So I'm putting that flower up there, and so now that I'm looking at the layout, I'm kind of looking, okay, yeah, this is how I like it, this is how I want it. So then I get the Zots, and there they are right there, and they come on a roll in that box that you see there. And then I take the Zots, and then I put them underneath on the brad, directly on the brad and the paper, so that, and you just put it down. You don't have to press really hard or anything, because I'm telling you, once you put it on you put it down, it's a done deal. It's stuck. So me and those Zots go a long way back. I tell you, a long way back, and they still make them. So if you're interested, they're an adhesive that is carried by Michaels. Michaels is the only place that I see them. So if you ever want to get some, they're there. Alrighty, so I think I got the flowers down that I need to have down. I'm sprinkling my dots. I got my dots down there, and I'm using the Heidi Swap Gold Mist. And I'm putting it over here on this side, and down in the corner here by the other butterflies. Alrighty guys, I want to thank you so much for watching, and be sure to click the link to the CutCardStock shop, and that way you can get your own beautiful cardstock. Take care guys, have a great and wonderful scrappy week. Bye bye.